kids, welcome back to the studio. You know, one of the things I love most about my wife is that when she feels things, she feels them deeply. I sometimes tease the granny about this, but after 33 years of marriage, I always know when it's time to bring her a Kleenex. Have you ever wondered what our world would be like if we never became emotional? If our response to everything we experience was purely logical? I can think of a few words like cold, boring, and unfeeling. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 tells us that God created us in His image. Now that doesn't mean that we resemble Him physically, because God is spirit, but instead that we bear His character and all that comes along with that. We can exercise reason, intelligence, speech, our moral consciousness, creativity, rationality, and choice. Since the beginning of time, God has desired to bless us and enjoy close fellowship with us. And for this reason, He made us like Himself. A big part of bearing the image of God is that we are emotional beings. We feel things. Can you guess the emotions that are being displayed on my screen? If you said joy or happiness for this one, then yes, you're right. Everyone loves that feeling. And what about this one? Yes, sadness, crying. We all know that one too. When we hurt physically, mentally, and even spiritually, crying is the only thing we can do. So go ahead and let it out. Here's a fun one. And yes, it is. Surprise! Did you know that we have a God who loves to surprise His children? It gives Him great joy. It's true. And do you recognize this one? It's anger. It is a God-given emotion. The important thing to do when you feel angry is to try and figure out what it is you're angry about. The Bible says, "Be angry, but do not sin." Some things should make us angry, like injustice and poor behavior. But don't let that deteriorate into yelling and foul language or worse. Here's another tough one. Guilt. When we do something we know we shouldn't do, we feel guilty, don't we? But that's a good thing. Without guilt, we wouldn't know what we need to change. We wouldn't feel the need to apologize or to ask forgiveness. And this one's easy. Fear. We've all felt its grip at various times in our lives. Jesus doesn't want us to live in fear. He wants us to trust Him completely with everything in our lives. When sudden fear hits you, be sure to refocus on Him as quick as you can. Trust that you are in His hands and that you belong to Him. There's no safer place to be. This one is my personal favorite and should be the strongest of all our emotions. What do you think it is? Yes, of course, it's love. More than any other characteristic, we are to be a people of love. Sometimes our emotions are pleasant to experience, and sometimes not. Sometimes our emotions are grounded in truth, and sometimes they are false. For example, if we don't believe that God is in control of all the circumstances of our lives, we may experience emotions of fear, despair, or anger based on that false belief. So remember, kids, emotions are powerful and very real to the one who's feeling them. They can be helpful indicators of what's going on in our lives, so pay attention to them. Have an awesome week. Stay safe and care for one another deeply. We'll see you again.